Hello, hope you're having a great day. A couple of things we've updated in the Unity coursework, having done Module 5.2 today. That'll be linked in the description. I'm going to go ahead and show off what has been changed with this project. You'll notice in the top left there is a UI element that displays a score that will update as I play the game, right? You'll notice some of these objects are giving either 5, 10, 15, or negative something points. I forget, negative 10. You'll also notice there are particle effects when I click on these objects tied to the particular object in question. Yes, so the main thing of note here is the UI. Really, that's the main purpose of these lessons. And also recall yesterday that in the input system, we're using raycasts from the main camera to the mouse position when an on-click event occurs. And those are two different things that I've ported over into my my own personal project. So just showing off a couple of the changes in terms of the back end for what we did in this coursework, right? There's the asset pack that came with the coursework had a selection of these explosion particle effects. They're all the same particle effect, just different colors. So what we've done is the prefabs for the 4 different objects, we've added different particle effects for each. You'll see, the bomb has the red one, I think it was. The energy drink has the blue one. The pizza has the yellow one, and so forth. Additionally, I've added in the target script, you'll see here, I've added a variable for the particle system to reference it and call it when it's clicked, and you can see that take place right here. While the check click resolves, we're also instantiating an explosion particle at the location of the object at that time, and the rotation is just the basic rotation of the particle effect, so it's not like exploding in crazy directions based off of what the objects are doing. And then the other thing is we've added in the game manager here the TM Pro for the Text Mesh Pro, so we can start using the UI elements, and that is visible here. I've got it anchored to the top left with a minor offset, so it has this little padding above and to the side of it. And additionally, I've got the reference here. I'm calling it score text, and it's just being updated anytime the score changes. And this method right here, the update score with the integer parameter, that's being called inside of the target script here. Also, after the click is checked, it's going to be giving the point value variable, which is this one right here, different for each item, passing that value over, and that's updating the score. So yeah, that's everything from the coursework today. So now I'm going to go ahead and swap over to the main project and show how I've used those things that I've learned to enhance the personal project. Also, a couple of other things, been doing a lot of just incidental tutorials on YouTube, learned a lot about, there was an acronym SOLID, kind of giving an idea of best practices, and I am bearing these in mind as I go. I don't expect my projects to be best practice executed, but I do expect to try to do it when it's convenient to do so, and to keep it in mind even if I fail to do it right. Like, even if I can't think of a good way to incorporate a best practice, at least I'll keep in mind that there is that best practice. This is a lesson I've learned from video games I've played, actually, like Factorio Satisfactory. That's the kind of game where perfection is really the enemy of progress. You can get so hung up on trying to do things the long-term best way that you never actually accomplish anything. But if you just do something that works and is scalable in the future, that's the way you can, that's how you get results. Don't get mired down. So that's trying to keep that in mind here as well, not trying to keep my conventions perfect. Sorry, the dogs are barking. So what we've changed here, and I'll go ahead and exhibit it straight off the bat, you'll notice that we are able to use that UI element, and I know this is placeholder, it looks terrible, but you'll notice when I approach each of these different items, I'm receiving a use prompt. In fact, I could probably stand to tighten up that distance a little bit. And I get this on any of these different objects, and it goes away when I'm not close enough to use them. And then when I go to the adventurer, it changes to talk. So most remarkable with this, not only is this a visual thing, I have a reference to each of these objects that I am attempting to interact with, right? So when I'm over here, oh dear, not only am I getting the UI element, press E to talk, I have a reference to this object, which I have called storage here. So when the time comes that I write code for each of these objects, I've already got the functionality built in. All I got to do is call that code. So very excited about that. Same with the talking with the adventurer, right? Like as soon as all I have to do is in each of these different things, like the adventurer script, all I'd have to do is give him a method called interact or something along those lines, was interacted with, something like that. All I got to do is give that, and then in my player controller, when I press the interact button right here, I've got the method ready to go. I just put it to check what I'm interacting with, check if it's in range, and then I'm good to go. So anyhow, here's what the code looks like. This is going to look very similar to the solution from the previous episode for using the input system in the 2D clicking game. I have a raycast that is checking a specific amount of distance in front of me. Right now it's at 3.5. That could be tightened up to 3, I think, because 3.5 felt a little generous. And then when it hits something, colliders specifically, when it hits a collider within that distance in front of me, I'm just checking tags, right? I'm just using tags for this because I only want literally 2 things, either an adventurer, in which case I can talk with them, or a workbench is what I'm calling these different objects in the game. The forge, the map, the desk, whatever. I'm calling those workbenches for now. And that's where the prompt comes from. And then, of course, if it hits a collider that is not one of those 2 things, I set the text to null, so it effectively goes away. And then also, if the raycast, originally that was all I had. And there was a funny little bug I would have where it's, if I would be over here and I would have EDUs and I would just slowly back away, it wouldn't go away. If I looked at something else, like over here or the floor, it would go away. But if I just looked at this and then slowly backed away, and then I realized, yeah, that's because if I'm not actually looking and raycasting into something that's not a workbench or an adventurer, this isn't gonna call this text to set it to null. So then I set an else statement outside of here as well, so that if the raycast doesn't hit anything, period, it's gonna set it to null as well. So just a funny little whoopsie there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's very simple, but also very considerable. This is going to be this is going to be a big step towards getting the functionality for all these objects done, which was my next major goal for this project. So yeah, that's everything for today, and I hope y'all have a great one.